welcome to the Kemetic How-To Guide for Egyptian Pagan and Kemetic practitioners. I'm your host, Sharon. As you can see, I've been quite busy through the school year working on animation projects. If you haven't already, please check out the 3D walkthrough of an Egyptian temple. That was something that I spent about half of the spring semester working on, starting with the 3D model and then doing the texturing and all of that. Looking forward to maybe learning some more things this fall, because in the video I mentioned making an Oculus Rift version. That's going to take some collaboration, but I'm optimistic about that. And also, cross your fingers for me, I should be graduating with a bachelor's in animation and visual effects December 2015. So, good things hopefully are afoot. In the meantime, let's kick off a new season of the Kemetic How-To Guide with a look at some recent commercials of an Egyptian theme.
Hey, buddy. That's not the. I was thinking more like a round, full.
So, you've heard about Tesla Motor Company and their electric batteries, right? Well, they recently made a deal with Solar City, who installs solar panel systems to supply them with those batteries. And you might know about Solar City by their catchphrase, which includes
the infinite power of the sun to work and
save. Now, for those of you that are wondering, it's put the infinite power of the sun to work and save. A lot of people in the comments have been asking about that. Personally, I think these commercials are hilarious. And hey, Ra's pretty cute. I wonder if he's going to any tech conventions. I mean, I'd love to hug those abs.
Hey!
Sorry, dear. And it's nice that somebody made the connection. Hey, solar power, sun god, Ra. But there are some pagans and some folks in the Afrocentric community that are a little upset by these commercials. So let's take a look at their concerns. Hey, Ra's not black. Okay, when it comes to Hollywood whitewashing, you have an absolute point. I mean, if you look at Joel Edgerton and Christian Bale in Exodus, they look about as ethnic as jalapeno burgers. But here's the problem. If you look at the Solar City commercials, Ra is vacuuming the floor, trimming the hedges for a white guy. If you had a black Ra keeping the house for a white guy, that would look really racist. And the whole point of the commercial is making the sun work for you through solar power. So, in this case, I think they erred on the side of caution by not doing that. But this brings us to the next point. Hey, Ra's a god! That's undignified! Okay, for one, the ad people who did this probably have no idea that there are people that worship Ra now. Most folks are clueless. The ad writers probably don't know enough about Ra, the character, to really characterize him, other than, hey, he's got a hawk's head. We know about hawks. So you see Ra trying to eat the goldfish. The solution on both of these counts, I think, is to educate people about ancient Egyptian religion and its modern interpretation. Let them know so that they have a little something more to go on. 2. These commercials introduce more people to Ra through humor. They laugh, they say, oh, that's cute. And somebody might want to know more about ancient Egypt as a result of that. I mean, hey, it's a way better portrayal of Ra than you had in Stargate. For me personally, I thought the idea of making Ra and the other Egyptian gods alien villains was, frankly, rather offensive. Your mileage may vary. I know there are some people that love Stargate, and I even know some folks that worked on Stargate, but I thought it was kind of hokey. 3. The Egyptian gods have suffered much, much worse than a commercial. And they still could. Keep in mind, early Christians smashed statues, hacked faces out on reliefs, put icons in their lavatories. And now you've got these ISIL whack jobs who would like to do the same thing and worse. You've seen what they've done in Iraq, you see what they're doing in Syria, and they just announced that they'd like to do it in Egypt too. And we can't have that. But when you compare that to a funny commercial with Ra sculpting pyramid hedges, I think the commercial is a much better alternative. So, bottom line, we have two choices. We can either educate people, laugh with them about the commercials, offer constructive criticism instead of just complaining, or we can continue to just complain among ourselves and not endear anyone to our cause. Frankly, I would much prefer the former. So, knowing what I do now, I did mention the work in animation and visual effects that I've done. You could probably film another commercial that would rewrite it and present it a little bit of a different way. But we'd have to talk about that later, because that would require some supplies. I'd have to talk to some people I know who do costumes, things like that. Let's continue this conversation later. But in the meantime, one thing you can do to keep supporting this channel is make sure to buy a copy of Circle of the Sun if you haven't already. This is the follow-up to Following the Sun. It has more actual rituals and things like that in it. And you see there's a nasty little problem with Google Books. Google Books put most of this in its preview. I tried speaking to folks at Google, and they have not gotten back to me on this. In the meantime, what you can do, if you enjoy this channel and you'd like to see me doing more things with it, then when you buy a copy of this book, that helps me, and I can do more things for the channel, and so, you're supporting your media. In the meantime, hopefully I've given you some thoughts about ancient Egypt and the media. We've got a lot more things coming. As I'm recording this, we're about 2 weeks away from the Spike TV 3-part special on King Tut, and next year there's going to be a movie based on the myth of Horus and Set coming out, and I'm very intrigued about that because the same director who did The Crow is doing this one, and he's very choosy about his projects from what I read, so this should be interesting. Stay tuned, and again, keep in mind, most of the people, the general audience that this is being written for, don't know as much as we do. So we should take this as an opportunity to educate them, rather than come across as a bunch of, pseudo fans, which could be another discussion itself. So for the Kemetic How-To Guide, this is Sharon, wishing you Senebti.